Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Man, patch is out tomorrow. Already starting to hear sort of whisperings on the Discord of what the nerfs are going to be, maybe to Tolarian Academy. Um, who knows, maybe they'll kind of look at the templating for Lab Maniac and maybe shift that in some sort of way. Um, Either way, I'm just really interested in uh, showing this RAL deck. I put the teammate who had been working on this list. I just copied it as they posted it in the last I think week or so. They might have updated it too, so we'll see. But so far, I've just really liked what this version of RAL is doing. Um, I saw Logan Thorne had posted a video, I think today or yesterday, and I feel like a lot of other people have really been digging playing RAL. And I think it is like, it's pretty unique. It's always been unique in the fact that it's like kind of a storm combo deck and can be really explosive, um, but also have like a plan against aggro with just how, the kinds of spells that you're trying to run. Um, so this is the list, right? I mean, Spark of Genius, right, just kind of sets up these turns to be really crazy. We're topping out with Chaos Lightning and Firemind Bolt, and to be honest, Firemind Bolt has sometimes not impressed me because it's just, if it costs 3 mana for 3 damage and draw a card, it'd probably be busted. But I just think that sometimes you want it to be a little bit undercosted. But Magnum Opus now being 3 costs instead of 4, or it has been as of the last patch, is a huge buff to the deck. And some of the new cards, right? Thing in the Ice. Um, when you first look at this, you're like, 3 spells is a lot. But for RAL, if you're running a bunch of cheap spells that are all 2 and 1 cost and 3 cost, it's just really easy to do this. You play it. It's probably your best turn 2 play, besides Isochron Scepter, and it just flips into a 6/5 that stuns the strongest enemy. It's a threat. It just obviously works really well with what the deck's trying to do. I was kind of skeptical when I first read it. I was like, is this going to be good enough? And I definitely think that it is. Young Pyromancer is the other edition. Also looking at this card, I'm like, okay, 3 mana for a 3/2. Yes, it has a ton of upside for RAL, but is that just, if it costs 2, right, it'd be pretty scary. But it costing 3, is that what you want to be doing on turn 3? Don't you want to be like throwing out some spells maybe for your Thing in the Ice? I haven't put as many reps into this deck as my last video, um, but I think there's a little tension between Young Pyromancer wanting you to combo off on turn 4 versus Thing in the Ice wanting you to enable it on turn 3. But the thing is, when you play against Jayce, this card does a lot of work, right? It's just, if it resolves and it stays on the battlefield, very easily you're doing 6 damage a turn with the Emberlings, and it can just be kind of a tremendous. And they're haste, right? So even if they bounce your Young Pyromancer, if you have 6 mana or 5 or 6, you just replay it. You play your 1 cost spell, another 1 cost spell, get a free spell. You're hitting them for 1. You're attacking for 6, right? Um, and you just want to be running these cheap spells. Other ones to look at would be Jarring Insight, right? Each player mills a card, then draws a card. And in Jayce meta, you don't really want them drawing cards, but I will say it's just a cheap card. You just want cheap spells to chain. Um, Warding Flame is great. The miracle being like just a free 1 damage, although it's random, is totally relevant. And the fact that it's cheap, again, same idea with Burn Through, right? But this allows us to attack through, which is really important. Unsummon, I think it's just a good card right now. Like, Jayce has to play 1/2s or mostly 1s and 2s, to gum up the ground. So Unsummon's relevant against them, and it's certainly relevant against any mid-range deck. Um, Aggro, obviously, you'd rather have Shock, but like Unsummon, I feel like typically is trading on mana value or above. That's been my experience with it. And then, your usual suspects of Isochron Scepter, Mana Surge, Divination. And I think I've seen some lists that, go a little bit more towards the control side. They're playing, the wizard class and all of that. But I think the incentive for playing this is you get to play Rooftop Laboratory, right? I feel like people forgot about this land. Maybe not the Rel, dedicated crew, but I remember seeing this and I was like, oh, maybe this will be a cool Laboratory Maniac thing. And it just doesn't see play because the Academy land is way better. So starting turn 6, you have a chance to draw 2 cards instead of getting a mana gem. Put 2 random cards back from your hand into your deck at the end of your turn. That second part just basically doesn't matter. The fact that you're drawing 2 extra cards and you're just gonna combo off with your spells, sometimes means you can just dump your whole hand that you got for free, right? Or dump the cards that you got for free and not have to be, have the drawback of putting them back in your deck. I think this, at least with this build of Ral, I think this is the land for it. And it definitely just gives you a little bit more reach, a little bit more card advantage to deal with the control decks and deal with mid-range. And it's also not stopping your mana, right, until turn 6. And when you're topping out with, lightning, chain lightning, chaos lightning, you're just going to hit all your mana curve that you want to. And then on turn 6, you're just I would love 2 free cards off the top. So that's probably enough talking for me. I think let's just jump on the ladder. So, okay. So I haven't played that many matches with this deck, but when I've played it, I've really had fun with it. Chandra, I wonder how this matchup goes. Could kind of see it being somewhat close, depending on whoever curves out really well. Okay, Shock we definitely want. This is interesting. So we kind of want to choose what we want to do on turn 3. I think Pyromancer is a little worse against Chandra and her kit, so I think I'm just going to try and find Thing in the Ice or just another relevant spell. Okay, Spark of Genius is great. Potentially means we can do something turn 3 when we play Magnum Opus. And they're running the temporary land. Okay, so maybe it's a more mid-rangey version of Chandra. I feel like most aggro versions are running the volcanic land. But also I just have not seen Chandra decks in a very long time, so this should be interesting. So I think what we're looking at right now, I mean, we might have to toss out Shock to deal with their 2-drop here. Ideally, I think with this hand, it looks like we're going to try and really combo off on turn 4. We'll see though. I mean, if we get, I guess we would need double Spark of Genius to combo off on turn 3. So yeah, we just have to deal with the threats for the next 2 turns. And then hopefully we'll have a big turn with Magnum Opus and see how far that gets us. Okay, they're thinking real hard here. Firecat. Okay, well, I don't really think there's a huge decision point here. However, if we go Spark of Genius Shock, then we get a 1-mana Divination. So I do think that that's probably good enough. Yeah, so let's do that. Okay, wow. Sucks that we hit 2 6 cost spells. Deal 13 damage randomly split among all creatures. I mean, I feel like that could be good against them, but the randomly split is a little sketchy. I guess I'll just take wrong turn here. This is summon from your graveyard all friendly creatures that died this turn. It is the cheapest spell. I just don't know how helpful that's going to be for us. Alright, I think we're supposed to take the cheapest spell. Oh, right, and we can Opus instead of Divination. Yeah, this might die to removal if they have it, but I think that's the play. Okay. Another Flame Cat. Summon from all friendly creatures that died this turn. Okay, so I think if I trade here and I Blessed Rebirth, we get it back. Right? Oh, we're going to find out. Okay. I'll take that. That's a lot better than having a 6-drop spell in our hand. So they went Firecat, Firecat. Okay, we're definitely taking 3 here. That is totally fine. Burn through is solid. So if we go Thing in the Ice... I mean, I do want to get Thing in the Ice off, but I think it's a pretty clear Firemind Bolt. It's like a very efficient turn. Get to hit for 5. So 4 mana could be Hellrider. Oh no, Hellrider's 5. Ball Lightning. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take the 6. I don't love it, but I think if we block here, we just don't have a lot of ways of moving the game forward. Okay, so now I need to think. Do I want to play Thing? If I go Thing, I can go Thing, Burn Through, Anticipate, but then that doesn't guarantee me flipping it. But if I go Pyromancer... It's definitely interesting. Then I have to block this. Yeah, I guess... I think I like just doing this. Okay, could take Firemind Bolt. I think I'll just take another cheap spell here. Get to attack for 9. I imagine I probably have to block the Lemur. Just see how the turn plays out. And then I think next turn we get to just Thing in the Ice, their biggest creature. So, okay, shock on that's pretty good. I mean, we're at 12 life. I don't... Okay, that is fine. Yes, so I'll take 3. So Thing in the Ice, unfortunately, will stun this, so I want to see if we could find a way to change that. Okay, so let's start with Spark. Choose 2 creatures, deal damage equal to each power of each other. And then if we go Burn Through, we go down to 3 mana, and then we can play this and they kill each other, and that should be GG. This is 9? Yep. Alright. Sweet. Not bad. Yeah, I guess that was just kind of like just a mid-range Chandra list. I mean, I don't know. Some of these turns are just like so explosive. It's definitely the most fun part of the deck is just like seeing how you can kind of combo off. See if we can get a couple more games in here and just feel a little bit of how the deck plays. I mean, typically with Ral, budget or otherwise, you want to stick some sort of threat that has high power, right? I think there's like the 2-drop common or uncommon that gets +1/+0 whenever you play a spell. Back when I didn't have any of these cards, I would play that. I would try and stick like a 2 mana cares about spells being cast, and then unsummon their stuff, remove their stuff, and then attack for a lot of damage, or play a huge chaos lightning. So I think this deck is relatively low costed, but if you're having a hard time crafting the cards, I think you can build it with like a budget version. And feel free, like, if y'all are watching these videos and you're like, well, Tim, I don't have these cards, feel free to like maybe comment and just let me know, and then we could maybe look at some budget builds. I think that would be fine. Okay, so against Kaya, we have to think about being really proactive. Mana Surge really helps us go off. Isochron is good. Young Pyromancer, I don't think is a card we want to be starting with. Kaya can be really, really strong. It was one of the aggro decks that I was tinkering around with a lot. Okay, well, if we draw a 1 or 2 cost spell next turn, like if we could draw a Shock right here, that would be insane. Okay, we didn't, but so it's either we could go Mana Surge, Magnum, Opus, Jarring Insight for free, or we just play Isochron Scepter. But I think I'd rather get on the board here. I just think that's always best. Okay. The Shock would have been nice. But, oh, Million Cut Down is also bad because they can get it back. Yikes. Alright. Not a great start. Drawing Thing in the Ice isn't terrible. Yeah, they get to complete their quest because they can't block it. So I think it's going to be close between trying to Isochron for a relevant spell, Thing in the Ice, or just playing Pyromancer to try and raise. Okay, another Isochron Scepter. Feel like we just want to try and find a relevant spell. Okay, Chill Wind, this is definitely relevant. Also, Drum Up Support is kind of nice, but I think we do want to try and slow things down. Yeah, they have a pretty decent incentive for blocking here. If they get back their cut down, that's okay. They drew the other one. Yeah, that's pretty bad for us. Bruce. Well, we are very far behind, so we'll see if we can dig ourselves out. Yeah, Firemind Bolt is a card. Okay, alright. I mean, Force Patrol actually gives us some way of blocking, so that's something. Yeah, I think it's probably just Thing in the Ice in that, and then maybe next turn try and go off. It's going to be pretty hard, though. I guess the other line is if we Firemind Bolt this turn. No. I think we just need to do that. I mean, we're going to take 5. They're going to get, we're going to take 7. And they're going to complete their quest. So, that's pretty rough. I was thinking of running like a 1x Pyroclasm in the list, because I do think that sometimes is really powerful, especially into like an aggro meta. So that's something I might consider. Like maybe cutting one of the Firemind Bolts for 1. Or just cutting a young Pyromancer. Yeah, so they're going to try and play as many creatures here. Oh, that's a bummer. Alright, well, we definitely have to block there. We're going to take 9. definitely don't like our chances here. We also have, I think, completed a quest every turn since turn 2. Okay, Burn Through is definitely a card. Pyromancer. I could go Pyromancer Burn Through. I guess I'd rather Isochron, see if we can hit something cheap. Okay. Okay. It's power 3 or less. Right. Okay, so that I just gotta take sample. It's so tragic. We can't actually flip or anything in the ice, but we can try and live. Yep, I guess that's the vibe. Yeah. Question is, am I am I blocking the thing in the ice this turn? I'm gonna throw. Well, all right, GG. Yeah, that was well played, well done by our opponent. Yeah, if we don't have our shocks for matchups like that, it's definitely going to be tough. And they were on the draw, so they like get the extra mana, which is pretty huge when you're playing cheap cards, like Kaya does, and then having Hellmouth Cave, right? Because it just you're operating off of like very little amount of mana, so being on the draw with the mana jewels, I think pretty good. Okay, this kind of looks like a typical Challenger build with more of the aggro bent. Yeah, I would like a shot at drawing other relevant spells. Okay. Every time I see this card, I wish it was not this card. I wish it was like Pyroclasm or something else, but that might just be my own bias here. Lemur. Okay, yep. Good one drop. Oh, hit the lemur? Oh my god. That's... We had the 50-50 shot. That was awesome. I didn't even think about that because, like, the fact that it hit it, I think you just have to kill it there. You need to remove something. So we'll see what 2-drop they play, or if they have double 1-drop. Okay, Vengeful Brute. Yeah, this kind of build I've played a little bit with, like the red-black, almost like Angrathy build with Chandra, and I do think it's really strong. Okay, so what are we doing here? I think might as well try and save our mana, so I think we just run out thing in the ice. They have Ball Lightning, this is going to hurt. But I think we're just taking whatever damage is coming to us this turn. Okay, that's good news. I will take 3. Hellhound, Cannoneer. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, interesting. So we've got Scepter. I mean... Oh, man. We just don't have the cheap spells. I mean, we could Scepter for something, but... How much better is that than just playing Firemind Bolt? I mean, we do get the free spell next turn to try and set up. Oh, let's hope we hit. Okay. Yeah, Raven Feeblement is a good enough card here, I think. If they have another Goblin Swordsmith, though, that's pretty awful for us. Wonder if I block Sword Cannon. Oh, jeez. Yep, Sozu. I think I will take my free block here. Take 6. Okay, Shock is good. Alright, let's see what we hit here. Mana Surge. Oh, and also Drain. Huh. I feel like I probably have to take Drain here. Even though Mana Surge is so good. Well, if I take Mana Surge, I go up to 5. I can play it. So I would go Shock. I would go Shock, Opus, Drain. Man, that seems good enough. Okay. Or, sorry, I should go Opus first. Yeah, Opus. You gotta sequence these things. Okay. Get the flip. Stun Zozu. Also, it's great that the damage, or the procs went on the toughness. It's like so much better for us. Okay, they didn't hit. That's good. Okay, Chaos Lightning is at 6. We're going to have 5 mana. If we could draw a 1 or 2 cost spell, it would just be excellent. Ugh, Ball Lightning. I mean, we have the opportunity to take no damage here. I think we're supposed to take it. It's pretty incredible that we're actually even able to do that block. Okay. Nope. Brute. Okay. Anticipate is... So we can go Anticipate. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's probably good enough. Get the Miracle. And then... Oh, if we do this, then we can kill Zozu. Yeah, I think that's probably the line here. Yeah, I mean, guess I just offer up the trade here. Okay, man, this land not proccing the last 2 turns is huge for us. Wow. Ooh, man. All right. Got a little lucky there. I think if they get the procs either of those turns, I do think that we'd probably lose. This deck's so fun, though. It's like really getting to think out the sequencing. It's like... It's just a cool playstyle. You know, if you ever like Storm in Magic the Gathering, this is definitely the deck for you. Or if you just kind of like red-blue spell matter kind of stuff. I mean, obviously that's kind of Ral's theme, but yeah, it's a really different play style from other decks, and I feel like I really like decks that have a sort of higher ceiling. You know, that you can outplay your opponent, you can use your game knowledge to really just give yourself a higher chance of winning instead of having... So, like, I think the deck is pretty consistent, but I do think it still has a lot of outplay potential. Whereas some other decks, it's kind of like more straightforward. If you get your stuff, it works out. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. Get the Kaya rematch. All right. Okay, I do like Unsummon, and anticipates a cheap spell. I think I do want to just give myself better chances of hitting removal. Okay, not the worst. And I can't wait until I get Oath of the Paladin. I don't have it, and I'm so excited to get it at some point and play some of these more white aggro decks, because I think it's integral to their strategy. Could Drawing Insight here. I just don't think I need to. I think we're probably just unsummoning whatever they play here, and then like Opus, and then try and combo off. If we could hit a Mana Surge, that would be dope, or even a Shock here. Oh, well, Burn Through does the trick too. Okay, interesting. So if we go Burn Through, Spark of Genius, we get to play Magnum Opus for 1. I mean, that's pretty nasty. Strain enemy mana gem, give off any. Oh, jeez. I mean, I guess Cloak for Opus can be insane. I don't know what interaction Kaya runs, but hopefully they can't interact with this too well. Okay, this is definitely looking a lot better for us. Let me start with Drawing Insight here. Okay. Not the worst, not the worst. Yep, just go again. Shock, yes. Okay, that's great. Excellent. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. I mean, we could... I guess we could Invisibility Cloak, because that's just more powerful. I don't think so, because we remove this blocker and then we just get to hit. Insane. I would love to attack for 9 on turn 3. Oh, do they have double removal? Damn. Oh, that's pretty good. Just play out our Pyromancer, and hopefully we can close out the game with it. Ooh. Yeah, the Draining Bloods are doing some work here. Oh, this is a much scarier game. So now we're kind of leaning on Chaos Lightning to help us close out the game. I think we just start with Divination. We'll just try and slow them down. Okay, cool. We get a free spell and a damage here. Just unsummon. Anticipate. And then I guess I'll just take another Opus. And the turn. Cave. Okay. Yep. Take 2. Brute. Okay. Oh, and they got to complete their quest. That's pretty good. Okay, well, Mana Surge is also good. So if we go Opus, we go down to 3, then we go up to 6 again. Yeah, there's probably not much to think about here. Probably just Max Lightning. I can't think of a reason why not to. It's just the most mana efficient play. Yep. Hi. Hello. And also, if Rooftop Lab procs here, it's excellent for us. We haven't gotten to see it, actually. So I kind of hope we do. Krav, okay. Yeah, that's gonna be GG. Yep. Wow. There you have it, folks. Alright. Just because these are relatively quick games, I want to see if maybe we can get one different matchup. It's just such a fun deck. It's consistently a fun deck to play. It's definitely awkward. Like, I definitely suggest anyone who's used to just playing pretty fast and loose or like quick turns, definitely take your time with this deck. There are a lot more lines with all the mana cost stuff than you probably think, and there's a lot more sequencing than you probably think. Okay, nice. All right. Well, we got to be able to beat Jayce, at least for today. Hopefully not for the near future. Okay, Thing in the Ice we 100% want. Question is, do we want both? I think the answer is probably no, but these are all good. Okay, Chaos Lightning. You never like to see this card in your opening hand, but that's all good. And Shock is still relevant. You know, there's stuff that they, 2 toughness creatures that they play. And it can always go face if you needed to. I mean, do they have a 2 mana bounce spell? I don't think most of them are running it. Because if we draw a 1 mana or 2 mana spell next turn, we get to flip Thing. So I think it's just got to be play Thing in the Ice. And if not, we just play out Isochron Scepter, and it's whatever. This looks like an Anticipate, so that's good for us. Thought Provoker. Yeah. Okay, we didn't hit, but no a big deal. Just see if we can grab a relevant spell. I guess it's Warding Flame, it's cheap. We get a Soldier's... So that adds 2 cheap spells, though, for 2 mana. Next turn we can go 1-1. And then this will be free. But if we want to remove... You know what? I'll take Warding Flame. I'm not going to think too hard about it. There's a chance maybe we need to kill something with 3 toughness they play this turn. That's kind of why I'd go for Warding Flame. I think it's close, though, because getting 2 spells with the Sharp Sword and the Sturdy Shield, it's just, like, pretty good card advantage. So that could be wrong. No, they have the Repulse. Alright, now I think instead... I guess it's maybe Fling. Because we can fling one of the tokens. Alright, off of that, I think I will... Let's go Pyromancer. Hopefully they don't have a way to interact with it. If they do, we're probably going to be too far behind. But if not, I think we get to kind of go off next turn. I think we get to play Thing and flip it, if all goes according to plan. I mean, Pyromancer is definitely good into this matchup, so it's good that we have it. But the repulses are really tough to beat. What's nice is everything flies under remand, besides Chaos Lightning. So, okay, Mystic Tome, Snake. That's fine. Oh, Opus. I would love to do that this turn, but I cannot. Okay. God, I don't really want to Jarring Insight. Just gives them 2 free cards, so I don't think we will. So I guess I'll fling something. Yeah, that's fine. So we don't get the thing in the ice proc, but, you know, we get to turn into a 6/5, so it's pretty worth. I probably will have to play out Jarring Insight at some point, but I don't want to give them more ways of getting card advantage. Okay, there's one Maniac. Okay, Milling Alarm Bell is pretty lucky, because that's probably one of their better draws. And Milling Encore Performance. Okay. No, not Spark of Genius. Okay, Tome. If they don't have a creature here, even if they only have 1 creature, I think we're... Oh. I forgot these builds run Thalia now. Oh? Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Ugh. So I can go... Flame into Isochron? I kind of want to see what we can hit off of Isochron. Yeah, because we can only play 1 spell this turn. Okay. Yeah, let's see what we hit here. Okay, Mana Surge, but that's going to cost 4. So that doesn't work. So I guess we want Shock. Attack for as much as possible. Huge chunk. They're on 3. So unless they can go off this turn, I think we should have it. But you know, this deck typically can go off on turn 5 or 6. Well, I would say average 6, but yep, they have the extractor. Okay. I wonder if they run the 2 of the white card that gets back an artifact that died this turn. Typically, I feel like I see 1. It would make sense that they have 2. But I mean, even if they bounce Pyromancer, it's just not going to be enough, because we just get the value of the tokens of haste. And the fact that, I mean, they're just dead to Chaos Lightning, right? I mean, but we probably won't even cast this, because if they Remand, we lose to it. But Shock, get Repulse, that makes sense. Ooh, we get to draw extra cards. Finally, we got to see it. Yep. Fair enough. I would probably leave too. Okay. Pretty good set of games. I'm definitely happy with that. So, although this video is the last day of the season, I do think that the matchup is still hard, pre-nerf, but it's definitely very winnable, right? Like, I don't know, we didn't have the most ideal draws, and we were still able to combo off in a way that allowed us to win. So I just think that kind of shows the strength of the deck. So again, want to shout out my teammate Dan Shao, other like really high level mythic player. I just love this take. I'm still like, I might just want to change like a Firemind Bolt for, if there's like an other cheap, I guess there's just nothing like this that's cheaper I mean, dealing 3 damage directly and drawing a card, I think, is really relevant in this deck. Like, half the time you can kind of burn out your opponent if you need to. But yeah, I'm really in love with this kind of construction. I think it's just exactly kind of how Ral can really be overpowered when you build it like as cheaply as possible. I think the Thing in the Ice does an incredible amount of work. We didn't necessarily see it here. I think actually we saw more the power of Young Pyromancer. But I recommend this. Look, if you don't have the Rooftop Lab, I don't think that matters a ton. I do think it's better for this particular build. But also, like, it's pretty budget friendly. I mean, it's Thing in the Ice, it's Young Pyromancer, it's Isochron. I think that's it, right? Everything else is pretty easy. So I appreciate y'all sticking around for another video. Definitely with new patch, I mean, there's just probably so many possibilities. So I'm hoping to get up at least another video this week. And I feel like I'm going to shake things up a little bit. I really think this is the deck to do it. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy the video, and just take it easy. Until next time.